like I said, those comparisons with a Lesnar are there. I mean, this might even sound far-fetched and crazy to some. I would send him and him and Lesnar have a match, and he beats Lesnar. Like, talk about someone putting someone over.
Oba Femi, man, I just have to give him his dues because, boy, what a run. I think if you look at him when he became champion to who he's become now, that is what a title reign is essentially supposed to do. It's almost like comparing it to a Bron Breakker, where it's like you can see that there is a great person in there to become a great champion, but it's like, what can you do now you have the title? So I think the way in which he presented himself and elevated the title, and I think he done a lot for Trick Williams as well. I just want to say that, like in the feud that they had, I feel like both of them really benefited from that. But now we're looking at it. Is it time for Oba Femi to get his call up now? Because I think that's going to be the question on a lot of people's minds. It's like, where does he go from here? Because I don't think sending him into sort of a tag team with someone to go on a short tag team run before getting called up, I don't think that benefits him much. I don't think he needs that. He's been such a powerhouse within NXT. It's like, now where can he go on the main roster and really sort of continue that dominance?
Yeah, I think Oba Femi is a standout. I think his freak athlete sort of thing. I think he is very kind of like the 2024, 2025 equivalent to when like Brock Lesnar came through the door from OVW. I think this is someone that they put on there. Yes, he's a monster. Okay, let's see what he can do. Mate, within 5 matches, this guy had won the NXT breakout tournament. He was the North American champion in NXT within 5 televised NXT matches. Like, real freak athlete, had a very strong North American title run, dropped the title to Tony D'Angelo. And this is the thing. I think it was I can't remember, maybe it was me and you talking about Tony D'Angelo winning the other day, beating Oba Femi. And it was just like, even when that happened, it's almost like, well, I don't believe that, because Oba Femi is who he is. And I like Tony personally, but he is who he is compared to Oba. Like, I think Oba Femi, losing in that point was like, okay. But then they quickly moved him onto the NXT Championship, and he won that, and he's had a run with that title. Just on the Ricky Starks thing that you mentioned, this is where I think him winning could have been done a bit differently. I don't mind Ricky Starks winning. People are already complaining it was 2 DDTs, one off the ropes and just a regular one that pinned Oba, when he has a whole finisher. He has the Rochambeau finisher he never used, maybe because he can't pick up Oba. But then I think you've missed the opportunity for Ricky Starks to turn heel in that match. Cheat to beat Oba Femi, because you've already told us who Oba Femi is and built up Oba Femi to a certain degree. Cheat to beat Oba Femi and then become champion. And then it's like, well, boy, like, I had to do what I had to do, sort of thing. I can give you all the vignettes of I love WWE since I was a kid, but I had to cheat to win. Like, it is what it is. And I think you're off to the races immediately with Ricky Starks. And at that same point, you've protected Oba Femi. I think that's how they should have done it. If they're going to use DDTs to pin Oba Femi, that's been champions for so long, he should have cheated somewhere along the line to win. Anyway, Oba Femi, I think Oba Femi, the last thing he does in NXT should be him as the captain, the leader of this invasion thing that we're going to talk about in a bit, right? I think he should. So they're going to have like a 5-on-5 Survivor Series style match, which I think is sick. And I think Oba Femi should be leading the NXT charge. It's almost as like, okay, I'm not champion anymore, but this is still my home. I'm still going to show my dominance. He can do like, them spots where it's just down to Oba Femi and he just clears out 5 TNA man or something. Like that. He can do something like that.
You want him to go on this monster sort of run in that match, right?
Yeah, you want him to kind of, defend the honor of this place as much as possible, I guess. I think something like that would be really cool. And I think that should be his last action in NXT. Whether he goes through 3-man and then the last one from TNA pins him, and that's like him bowing out of NXT. But I think he should be at the front of the charge, basically, and maybe lead that team. And then, like you said, I think he's main roster bound. I think there's a couple places where you can debut, maybe in a Royal Rumble next year, late Jan, February, whenever they're going to do it. I think whilst Sami Zayn is holding the US Championship, doing the open challenge thing, send Oba in there and let him pin Sami Zayn. I'm sorry, like it's very believable.
You're sending Sami to the dogs, basically.
Listen, it's very believable. So like I don't think that's a bad idea either. Like I like Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn's putting some tremendous matches right now, and that's the whole point of an open challenge. But at some point, the person that's doing the open challenge over exudes themselves and they're doing too much. They need a break some weeks. Like, and if you send in Oba when Sami least expect it, like, and that's a nice place for him to start. US title just on the main roster. Like we were saying the other day, this isn't someone that they can mess around with and hold down from the top positions for too long. Like he is who he is. So yeah, I think that's how he should probably leave NXT, and then that's how he should probably debut on the main roster.
On that note as well, you could probably, I know this could sound a bit far-fetched, but stay with me for a sec, Mekz. If we look at, and you saying about how you could turn Ricky Starks heel, that TNA invasion is another opportunity for them to turn Ricky Starks heel. Whilst this is all happening, he could be the one to cost NXT, and the entire roster turns on him. He turns heel in the process. We get the arrogance come out. I think that the opportunities are essentially presenting themselves to WWE to make that decision, and to Shawn Michaels to say, right, are we going to turn Ricky Starks heel? Because it's like you said, there was an opportunity last night where they really could have turned Ricky Starks heel, and I think it would have been perfect. But there's another opportunity there where you can look at and say, right, if you were to really think about what NXT means to these people and what TNA means, it's all about the camaraderie and everyone sort of being on the same team, where it's just like, if you were to stab the entire roster in the back, I think that would cement you very much so as a heel. So I think that would be an interesting route to go down. But I love the idea of Oba answering the US title open challenge and sort of just going in there. And I know a lot of people had bad things to say about the Brock Lesnar John Cena match recently, but I would love to see Oba go in and have that same sort of performance against Sami Zayn on a SmackDown, wins the title, leaves people shocked, because I think a lot of people, Sami Zayn is a very, very, he's a very lovable heel. So I think if you were to ever cement someone's spot on the main roster, you send them in there to beat up the nicest guy on the roster and to do it in demanding fashion and I think if he was to do that, I think it really not only cement him, but it almost sort of cement for fans as well that what we see in Oba is the same thing that the WWE sees in him as well. Because, like you said, 5 matches on TV, he's winning tournaments, he's winning titles. I don't think in my lifetime personally, other than Brock Lesnar, like you said, even with Bron Breakker, I wouldn't even say that Bron Breakker, when you were to look at him in his early days, he was very raw. With Oba, you don't really see that with him. There isn't this rawness about him. He's taken to WWE like water. And I think when I'm looking at him, I'm thinking a lot of people say Javon Evans should be WWE champion in the coming years. If there's anyone that I want to see holding the big title in WWE in the next few years, I think it's got to be an Oba Femi.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I said, those comparisons with a Lesnar are there. I mean, this might even sound far-fetched and crazy to some. I would send him and him and Lesnar have a match, and he beats Lesnar. Like, talk about someone putting someone over. Like, Lesnar traditionally likes those big physical matches. He likes when people can stand up to him and do something. When Lesnar is motivated, Lesnar has a fantastic match with anybody. So I think if they really want to solidify Oba Femi on the main roster somewhere down the line, maybe as a WrestleMania match, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar, like just absolute 2 beefcakes going after each other. Like, like why not?